AIG and the U.S. Treasury Department raised almost $9 billion today by selling shares in what was once the world's largest insurer. That moves the company one step closer to independence. But how far does it have to go before investors again look on AIG as a good buy? We asked Mark Faber, publisher of the Gloom, Boom, and Doom report.
I was looking at it, but I didn't buy it because I just have a bad feeling about the company. And today the stock broke down. I mean, maybe a buy, but you know, you have to ask a specialist on AIG. I'm not a specialist on AIG.
But you're not.
I would rather stay away at the present time from insurance stocks, from banking shares.
Don't miss our full interview with Mark Faber, kicking off after the break. But first, let's go through the finer points of what this all means for TARP overall. Tim Massad is Acting Assistant Secretary of the Treasury and head of the TARP program, and he joins us now on Street Smart. Tim, welcome to the program. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I did talk to an analyst this morning, Kathy Seifert, who has actually a buy from S&P, who has actually a buy on AIG. But there's such a huge overhang. I think the government still has a billion shares and change, right, after getting rid of
That's
200
right.
in this offering. Does that concern you?
Well, I think there were a lot of investors who, of course, were looking at that, and that's why they were hoping we would sell a lot more shares and sell them a lot at a much lower price. But we decided that wasn't the right thing to do for the taxpayer, and that's why we sized it.
You could have sold at a higher price if you'd sold earlier.
Well, it always takes some time to get ready for an offering like this. So we've been moving very quickly. I mean, let's remember, when the government intervened, it only did this in the first place to prevent a collapse of our financial system. And most people thought all the money that we spent on preventing the collapse of AIG would never be seen again. The fact that 2.5 years we've already recovered a lot of it and we're on the path to recovering more is really a remarkable turnaround.
Will we, Tim, ultimately recover all of it? Maybe even make some money on it?
It's possible. It all depends on what markets do and what the company does, and we can't control that.
Well, based on, though, the initial release of AIG shares, I mean, do you feel like that we will make some money, or was it just a case of breaking even that you're hoping for?
Well, you know, we're trying to get the best value for taxpayers. We're going to exit in an orderly manner in order to maximize that value. But I can't predict what will happen, but we're certainly going to try our hardest.
What do you think about the job Robert Benmosche has been doing? He's had what looks like publicly kind of a rocky relationship with Treasury, but he's stuck with the company for a long time. He seems to be engineering a turnaround, or have engineered a turnaround. I think he has a very good relationship with Treasury, and I think he's done a great job, as has the entire management team, in turning around the company. We're very pleased with the progress they've made. Again, a lot of people thought this company would just collapse, and they've turned it around. They've sold off some non-core assets. They've made a lot of progress in improving the business. What do they still need to do? What do you want to see Robert Benmosche? Obviously, you own 77% of the company, right? So your say is important here.
You know, technically,
right? All of ours, right?
Well, we don't get involved in the day-to-day management. You know, what the government did was...
Why not, though? Because we own so much of it that we have so much riding on this.
Right, because we don't think the government is the best at managing companies. We made these investments not because we wanted to be an investment fund. We made them to prevent a collapse of our financial system, and now our job is to get out. We try to bring in good directors, good management, and it's up to them to make the day-to-day decisions.
But Tim, what are the checks and balances? Because we still own so much of AIG, what are the checks and balances to ensure that we're going to get the most out of this?
Well, obviously, if we felt the board was not doing a good job, we can vote against them. So we always have that power as a shareholder. But the key thing is that we've gone a long way already to exiting this investment, and we'll continue to do that, and we're getting back a lot of what the taxpayers spent.
Will you do it in 2 years' time? I know that's
hard to say. We don't have a specific timetable, but
would you like to do it in 2 years?
Well, that would be great, but we don't have a specific timetable. We're just going to exit it in a manner that really does maximize value to the taxpayer.
All right, hey, Tim, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.